Hello friends, welcome to Growing Scientist. Today we will be styling this ligation calculator used in molecular biology using CSS. We will transform this calculator into this one, and we will also check the layout of this calculator on different devices, how it appears, and also we will check it by resizing our screen. So let's start. Before starting this tutorial, I would like you to install live server extension on your Visual Studio. As you can see, I am already running my calculator on live server. If you don't know how to install live server on your Visual Studio, I have already made a tutorial. The link to that tutorial is given in the description. So let's start now. Let's first create a separate CSS file uh, in the same folder where our HTML is, and let's now rename this CSS file to ligationcalculator.css. Now let's go ahead and check our CSS file whether it is working or not by setting our body background color to aqua. We'll use link tag having relation type and href attribute set. Now save the code and you will see this change. If you are not getting the same result, then please check the location of your link tab, which should be under head tab as shown here. Now I'm gonna replace this background color with the background image which I have already downloaded. So I'll write background image colon URL and the URL of the concerned file along with the name, and also include the extension of the file. Now save the file and you will get this. Our background is loaded successfully, but as you can see here, my background image is repeating, so we will fix that also. We can use background repeat or background size. I'll use here background size cover, and let's save it and check it. See, we are not getting any background image repeated. So let's now go ahead and let me teach you how to inspect the layout. Right click and go to inspect. Under elements tab, let me full screen this browser first. Okay, so under element tab, as you can see here, right, you can see the layout of our HTML page, and you can see how it is encapsulated in within the div container tag, and you can also check its styling by uh, by hovering over this box. You can have read all the styling readings there. So now we will design this box layout. As you can see from the layout, this ligation calculator head is outside my div container. So I will bring this ligation calculator header under the div container by cutting it and pasting it inside the div container. So now it is under my inside my div container. So this is my div container having id form, and here is my ligation calculator lying inside the div container. Now I select the div container and I can check the layout of the div container by hovering over this box, and I can check the all the styling of the div container. So now we will play this with this div container having form id. So let's style this div container. Let's first write hash form to select the div container having form ID. Let's give it a border 2 pixels solid red. Let's save it and see. This is our div container. Also showing our style set by us under style tab. So let's go to body now. So I have clicked the body and you can see the style of the body. We can edit it directly from here. Let's give background none, so you can see the background has gone. Now let's set the position of our body to absolute and let's align the container from the top and from the left. So top 50% we will do it, and from left we will align it 50%. Now it is not exactly in the middle, so to be exactly in the middle we will, you can see it seems to be in the middle but not exactly in the middle. So now to align it in the middle we will use transform translate minus 50% minus 50%. It's showing some error. Actually translate spelling is wrong. So this is exactly aligned in the middle. And now if you change the screen size it will always align in the middle irrespective of the screen size or device size. Now what we will do, we will copy the whole style and paste in the form and we'll get the code. Now let's set our background to none and let's see our code. This look exactly like what we have done in the browser. So let's go ahead and style our content inside the main div container. As you can see, inside the div container we have various div elements containing our content, and as you can see here our content is sticked to the border of outer div container. So we need to add padding to this to avoid the stickiness of our content. So let's add padding to our main div container. Padding colon 10, let's give it a 10 pixel padding. So as you can see uh, we got 10 pixel padding from all sides. So if I remove this padding by default, which is 0, we can't see this in the model. Now coming back to 10 pixel padding, you can see the padding in this model. So now I'm doing 30 pixels of padding, so how it appears you can check in this model. So now let's go ahead and let's give a width to the container of 300 pixel. It looks good, so let's go ahead and let me also show you, if we decrease the width to abnormally lower size, this will happen. Our elements inside the main div container will overflow. This is called element overflowing. Now to avoid this we have to set the minimum width, but before that I'll show how we test the layout on different screens. You can click this toggle device bar toolbar, and you can select the device on which you want to see the layout, like I am choosing here Moto G4, or you can choose responsive here to manually resize your screen and check your layout. So let's go back to our code, and now I'm using flex boxes by writing display flex. So what I'm doing, flex boxes can help you wrap your content inside the container. So I'll be using flex wrap colon wrap to enclose my content inside the given div container. So now I will show you how this works. So first I'll increase the width of my main div container. As you can see, I'm increasing the width of the main div container. Let me increase more, 40 400 pixel. Now you can see I'm decreasing the width of the main div container, and you can see it is optimizing my content automatically, or wrapping my content. Now it overflows. So after some time, after 200 uh, 125 pixel, it is overflowing my content. So that is the advantage of using this flex wrap. It tries to optimize your content within the given container. Now let's go ahead and give flex direction, which will column, which will try to arrange the content inside the div container in column form. By default it is row. So now if you can see the effect of flex wrap on my content. So flex wrap is trying to optimize my content within the container. So let's go ahead and determine the minimum height required to display our content properly. So here I will write height and give some height to it, and I'll optimize the height to display my content properly. So let's first uh, check all our CSS code, and now increase our width to optimize our calculator. So as you can see, this is okay. Let's optimize our height now. uh, okay, so as you can see, we have set our flex direction to column. So it is now wrapping, making columns. So this is okay. Let's set our height. So it is wrapping like a column. So this is what flex column does. Flex direction column does. It wraps the element in the column form. So whenever there is a content inside your container having short of space, the flex direction column will try to optimize your content in column form. So let's go ahead and now set the width of our uh, this container, div container. So let's set it a minimum width of 440 pixel. What this will do, this will set a minimum width of at least 440 pixel, which means this width would only be applied to your container only when your content is completely wrapped within this div container, else it won't. Alright, let's copy this style into our form id container, and let's see its effect by zooming in and zooming out our page. Okay, it looks good right now. So let's go ahead and let's style this content inside this. So as you can see, I'm hovering over each div element containing some content. This is vector size. So you can see vector size. There is a input type element. Let me select this input type element and hover over its box model. You can see it's styling. So let's go ahead and style this input element, all the input elements, uh, all the input tags with let me do it side by side. Okay, now let's give all the input tags some padding, that is, say 10 pixel from every side, from top, bottom, left, right. Okay, so as you can see here, we got 10 pixel padding on the box model. Now let's go ahead, and it already, let's give margin. What margin means is that space from outside the border. Margin is extra space outside the container. Okay, so now it looks good. So let's go ahead. Let me zoom in and zoom out. It looks pretty much good. So let's go ahead. As you can see, we can test on different screens also. As I have already told you, this is responsive screen. We can also check it on different devices like Moto G, whatever there have been listed. So it looks good. Now let's go ahead. Let's change some width also. 525 pixel. It is okay. It looks okay, right? Let's increase a little bit more. No, this is fine. So let me change the width also. 530 pixel, right? Alright, let's move on and let's style our div elements inside our main container now. So as you can see, I'll first select all the div elements, and let's write align contents stretch. So let's save it and see its effect. Well, nothing has changed. So what's the problem? Let's check it out on the browser. Let's align it side by side. Alright, this align content won't work because it works only on vertical lines. So instead we have to use justify content to align our content horizontally. Okay, before this, let's go back to our code, and let's enclose our labels within the label tags. So you write label for here we write class for element for which the label is intended. So let me fast forward do this process. Also, now let's go ahead and uh, give each label element corresponding div element's ID. Alright, I'm done. Let's save it. Right, now let's go ahead and go back to our styling. So this is my div element selected. Alright, so div align content, I'll change now this align content to justify content stretch, and this justify content stretch will only work when you set display flex. So it will work only when you display the flex. On hitting this box in the side, you'll have different properties of flex boxes provided by flex boxes, like flex wrap, which I have talked about. There are two types of wraps: align content, justify content, and align item. So you can directly click these properties, and these properties will be added to your style automatically. So that's what is most fascinating about this feature. Now let's check it out why my code is not working. So I have done display flex. So why my code is not working, let's figure it out. Let's go back to our styles. So as you can see, I have written justify item stretch. Instead of this, I should use justify content. So let's go ahead and click justify content space evenly, and you can see the changes. The my content is evenly spaced right now. So let's go ahead. I can add more properties here also to check, but it won't work. Align items works with the vertically arrange elements. Now let's go ahead and experiment further with the justify content. Let's add some, let's check different attributes of justify contents right now. It is space around. Let's change it to flex start. This is flex start. Let's again change it to center, content center. It looks uh, it looks good. Content center, justify content center. Let's change it to uh, justify content evenly spaced. Mm, so this looks fine. Let's type something in the input box. It looks fine. So let's copy this code to our div style element. So we'll only copy justify content and display type flex only. Alright, right. Let's save it, and this is how our container looks like. Now let's go ahead and style our ligation calculator, which is enclosed in h2 tag. So let's go to our style sheet and write h2 uh, display type um, flex and justice content type evenly spaced. Now save. You can see that ligation calculator is in now middle. Now let's go ahead and let's see our labels. As you can see, in each div element there is our label is slightly upward, and it is not in on the same level as our input type. So we'll bring this label to the same level of that of input type. So uh, select label, and let's give it a padding of 10 pixel, and let's save it. So as you can see, it has gone down, but it is not at the same level. So let's check the box model of this. This is the box model of whole development. Let's go to the input type and check its box model. Here you can see we have given a 10 pixel of padding and another 2 pixel of border and another 10 pixel of margin. So it is because of that 10 pixel of margin and border, uh, the text in the input is slightly down. So we have to we can add a margin to the label to compensate that. So margin of 10 pixel would be, we can add the margin of 10 to 12 pixel. So as you can see, now the label is almost similar, and you can see its labels box diagram. box model, we have a 10 pixels of margin set and 10 pixel of uh, padding set, so that's good. Now it looks good. Now let's try to arrange that column uh, in the middle or slightly down. That column is not working. Where is our, let's first find that column in our code. We have insert to vector ratio. Next to it we will have a column. Yeah, this is the column, so we have to add this column to label also. We have to add one more label tag here to add the column. So all the changes necessary have been done, and you can see the column is in its right position. Now let's check the ligation calculator on our device. It looks good. We can also zoom in this calculator, and you can see there is no misalignment or anything going wrong. The display is right, and the levels are also displaying right correctly. So let's now go ahead and add curved water to our div container. As you can see here, we have a rectangular red color border on our div container. We will curve this using border radius attribute. The larger the number you give, the more it will be circular. As you can see, this is 5 pixel. Now let's set it to 20 pixel and save it. This is more circular. Now let's play with it in our browser. So here is my border radius set to 20 pixel. Let me full screen my browser and let's then play with the border radius. I am increasing the border radius, it is getting circular. To 87 pixel is okay. Let me set my border radius to 87 pixel, so it looks like this. Now let's add background to our calculator by removing background none, and let's save it and check it. So this is how our calculator looks. Now the problem is that we are having problem in reading the text of the calculator. This can be sorted by changing font color or the background of the calculator to white, but we'll sort this. But before that, we'll set the opacity of the body. Opacity is the measurement of amount of transparency of the element. So 0 means 100% transparent. Your object would be 100% transparent, and 1 means 100% opaque. So now my div container is 50% transparent to the background. That's why it's looking like this. So now we'll add font color to our div container so that we can have a readable text color. Here color is red. Now let's change our opacity. If I decrease it to 0.2, it will get more transparent. See, my calculator is hardly visible. Now I will increase the opacity, but I can also do this opacity, copy and paste this opacity within my div container, and let me set it to 0.8. Now it looks good. It is 20% transparent, right? Now I will set the font color of my calculator. I'll set it to white so that it is readable. So setting font color is very easy in Visual Studio. Just click the color and you can choose it directly. You don't need to have the knowledge of hexadecimal code. Now let's set the background of our div container to black color and save the code. So as you can see, this look pretty much good. So this is our calculator. Now let's test it on different screen sizes in our browser. So now I am testing it on Moto G4. Let me zoom in and zoom out. See, so it looks quite consistent. No. Now let's use responsive screen to check our layout. It is consistent now. It is not changing irrespective of screen size. So our code is quite reliable. So let's now add one more function to our calculator, that is hover function. So here back to the Visual Studio, we'll select the input type submit, and then we will add background to it, background color on hover. So we'll first add background color to aqua color. Then now we will use colon hover to add functioning to capture the event of hover using colon hover. So now the moment we hover over the submit button, its background will change to aqua blue. See, only submit button is working currently. Now we can use the same code for our reset button also. So here we have a submit button and we have a reset button also, input type button. So here we will copy the same code, and instead of type we will write button. Now we can change the background color of this button also. Let me select some other background color. So on hovering, this will get this background. See, on hovering, see, we can also add other functionality to this button. We can for example add border radius, which will change on hovering. That means the shape of our button will change. So that was all about our ligation calculator. Keep experimenting with the source code. Also, if you want me to upload the source code on the GitHub, please write in the comment box below. Also, please like this video, share this video more and more, and subscribe this channel. Thank you for watching.